season as well from the carry position. So they got a lot of their comfort. The weird stuff going on is they have an Enigma 5 position hero. Usually the hero has been trending as a 3 and a 4. It can be very effective, certainly, but a little surprising to see it as a 5. If it can deny experience from its opponents, it will be fine. That part would be good. If there are boars, you could destroy those, of course, but most Beastmasters are going axes anyway. So as long as he doesn't feed too much and can still get decent net worth, then he will definitely be effective. But they've got BKB piercing stuns, you know, they've got Beastmaster Roar. So they have some solutions against it, but there's also techies to watch out for. I played against techies a little bit in the last couple of days. He does feel quite a bit stronger to me. He has 5% more magic resistance reduction from his proxy mines. That means all the magic damage he does is 5% higher. It's kind of a big deal. It's like saying, hey, here's a hero. Let's just give you 5% more spell amp throughout the whole game. That's a huge impact on his game.
And he was already so strong too, right? Like we saw the amount of damage that he can output when he
does do a lot of damage, but his win rate was bad. So he felt good to play, but he did lose a lot of games in pros and in pubs. So I think his win rate was only like, I don't know, 46 to 48%, somewhere in there. It was below average. So he seemed good. He needed the buff for sure.
Yeah, but in the hands of a specialist, right, it always looks a lot better as well. And that's something that both teams do have, right? You've got Moon Meander over on the side of TSM, and then, of course, B-God, very much well known for his techies play. But ends up in the hands of TSM. Bryle's playing this mid-pudge, not something we see very often any longer.
And from the supports on the TSM side, both of them bought a headdress. The techies bought a headdress, and the Chen bought a headdress. So just all about giving mana to their cores this game.
A techie's headdress.
Or giving HP.
That's interesting.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, it makes sense though, like you said.
Offsets the blast off damage a little bit. That part's kind of cool. Way less mana to work with, but hey, against Enigma, it's really not that big of a deal because it's not like Enigma's going to trade with you anyway. So it further like makes this team completely fine. So he's just going to bully Jubei a bunch. Jubei will go to continue to deny creeps, ideally away from the creep wave, so they don't get any experience for that. And Scourge is going to get a little bullied here.
Yeah, he's having a little bit of difficulty dealing with all these axes and whatnot.
Yeah, the axes are quite good, right? Because it does 2 sources of damage, so breaks refraction twice instead of just once for a typical nuke. So that part's kind of cool. Back on the other side there, B-God just getting some harassing. Still going for null talismans on Skywrath Mage. Still gives you about the same overall spell casting, and semi-comparable mana regen. So I guess it'll be probably standard stuff from B-God. Again, this is one of his signature heroes, certainly. In the last season, it was basically techies and Skywrath Mage they had great performances on. So we'll see if he can have a good one here too, but hopefully they don't get as rolled over as they did last game.
Yeah, last when I went upstairs, I saw Tsunami and I was like, shellacking top hat? And he goes, yeah, about that. So
I mean, I think it was an umbrella. That was like
no, we have not had an umbrella. An umbrella would be a complete shutout, in my opinion. That would have to be like the other team has not scored anything.
It felt like that to me.
Yikes, dude.
Personally. Good start for Bryle, though, just 1-1-1. He's actually great at trading hits with Flame Guard, most likely, because Flesh Heap does block damage over time abilities. So this is decent for Bryle. He even did a hook there on the large creep. And in fact, this is a ward. If you look at the ward that the Dire placed in the bottom jungle, that ward got placed by techies right at the start. Do you see the Observer, please? The Observer, can we look at the Dire Observer ward?
Yeah, it's near the
That's in the Radiant jungle. No,
right
south,
there,
south, south.
Yeah,
there we go.
There it is.
Techies went and placed this right at the start. They like smoked out, he placed the ward. When Bryle went to grab the rune, he threw a hook on the large creep. So this is like something they practiced here. Like they're like, oh, well, we're going to accelerate. This is like taking the small camp, but Pudge can do both, right? He can hook whatever creep is there. Now it's, it's these crappy little centaur coursers, but whatever. If he wants to spend his mana that way, instead of using hook in lane, that's going to accelerate his experience in gold game. So he's pretty much always going to go bot rune, I assume, to grab his water runes. But yeah, he's just solidifying himself. He's at Tangos, 1 bracer. He's bringing out a Ring of Regen for a fast hood. That way he can basically offset all of his rot damage, is likely what we'll see between Flesh Heap and rot.
I really love when we see these like little efficiency things coming out from the players. We've seen a lot of them actually coming out of the NA region. We've seen Gunnar, he picked up the Manza style over on his Dragon Knight. So that way when he was in Dragon form, they get the actual, or the actual extra rather, flying vision and whatnot. And then we're seeing things like this, with that little cheeky ward placement. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, it helps your team, gets you a little bit farther ahead, and will help him accelerate into some kind of weird mid magic damage pudge. Now, I looked at the Dota buff for Matoma Man's game earlier today. I didn't get to catch the game live myself, but
Ooh, this is looking like a dead TA. Can they kill Moon Meander first, though? No, it's going to be Moon Meander who gets the first blood.
Oh, he barely dies. That was really close.
Saberlight needs to be careful, too.
Taking a lot.
Yeah, with those Eidolons, but I think he's too fast. Yeah, it looks like Jubei's just going to back off. But you were looking at Matoma Man's Dota buff. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, he ended up not buying a hood that game, actually, which is kind of interesting. You can get away with it a little bit because Flesh Heap is very powerful right now, at least if I'm not mistaken, but I poked through it a little bit. He just rushed Ags. He had Vanguard. He rushed Ags. He got a Shard. He bought a BKB, bought a Shivas, bought an Overwhelming Blink. It was a long game, but yeah, Brawl going a little different build, opting for the hood instead. He probably does need it against Underlord. Underlord is kind of a really good damage counter, certainly. Does a lot of percentage-based magic damage, and if Pudge has a lot of HP, we're talking a lot of damage. So he's going to need the hood this game, most likely.
Man, this is a hard game for Scourge. Another little sticky bomb here, and boop, pop goes the TA. Could go for a dive on Jubei here, too, if they want. In fact, Saberlight already getting into position. See some of those Eidolons. Would love to get his hands on some of that gold, too. But Jubei, again, is just going to run away.
The Jubei just did a pull there. Maybe a bit of a mistake because it led to another 2v1 situation, but Moon Meander's doing great against Enigma, I gotta say. I mean, he's got very high armor, right? So he doesn't have to worry as much when the Eidolons hit him. He's got very long attack range, and he's got 2 ways to AoE nuke too. So he's been able to deal with these Eidolons pretty effectively here. And now they're just kind of overrunning the lane. I mean, Saberlight's now back laning a little bit. Jubei will teleport to his tower to grab the experience and pull it off the tower itself. But it's been a rough one here. Scourge McDuck smoking back to the lane, chose not to teleport because his TP was late. Yeah, oof. I think he had TP at some point, but it was a little bit late, so he just chose to run instead.
Immediately gets spotted here by Moon. Pop that refraction. I'll cancel out a clarity over on Jubei. Yeah, they continue to ward that one area too, over on the Radiant side. Interesting here.
Interesting, actually.
Yeah. That hold into place, but they'll follow up with the Arcane. Heals the silence, pops the Fairy Fire. Brile, is he gonna survive this? Because he wants it. Nah, there it is, Shaggy. Final slide there.
Yeah, he pops the pike, hoping that will stop whatever damage comes out, but it was Sleight of Fist, so physical damage there. Nice kill by the cut. They did burn 3 Fire Remnants for it, so it's gonna be a long time till he gets those back full again, but I mean, this is a nice kill for Shaggy for sure. Big kill there. They were even on last hits, and now he gets a net worth advantage.
It was almost the NA special purge where you use all your remnants, go underneath the tower, get the kill, and immediately die.
Yeah, I'm just glad for Shaggy that he got the kill.
Yes.
Because that would have been catastrophic if he wasn't successful there. Even if he just survived alone, it would have been really tough.
Double damage.
See Pudge rotating over. He's gotten a lot of Flesh Heap points, by the way. Oh, nice kill by Dubu.
Yeah, he was in position for that rune. It happened to be a double damage, so he snaps it up and gets the kill on B-God.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, 2 points Flesh Heap and Hood. The amount of survivability Pudge has is maybe overkill, but I assume he'll just leave it at 2 points Flesh Heap.
Even throw out the dust over onto Scourge. To Moon Meander, though, with the rotation from B-God. It's gonna finally pay for his cheekiness. The Saberlight is backed away from this tower, and the Eidolon's just gonna do a little extra damage. Give some breathing room here to Scourge, because he is struggling.
Yeah, they definitely needed to get that return kill. But in the meantime, the mid tower dies. The power Chen happens once again. I mean, it's the catapult. When the catapult wave comes, you just make that rotation, and you can tank and dive, and any kill you get is huge. But the fact that they got the mid tower means that Shaggy's going to have less space on the map to get farm. But at least he got that first blood. Here's a rotation again from Dubu bottom, now invading the safe lane and doing the next pattern of his invasion.
All the golem babies there. I had a moment where I forgot that Dubu was playing Chen in this game, and I was like, wait, how did the Pudge lane get the tower already? And I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was definitely abnormal. But
I realized that they have
a little ward at least by Shaggy, but Brile will stick in this lane. He's gotten 3 points Flesh Heap now. I'm genuinely surprised. I mean, you really don't need that much Flesh Heap to offset Rot, but he's just done this to mega stabilize his lane. It's very abnormal. Like, you need 1 point of flesh heap per point of rot to take no damage from rot when flesh heaping. You can also cover this by bad magic resistance like Hood. So he's like mega overkilling his survivability here. But maybe he feels that he needs it to stay alive.
That's possible, as there is just the whole train. Everybody's paraded this bottom lane, to be honest, as they're chasing after Jubei. Almost managing to get the kill on Scourge in this lane over here on the side of the jungle. Yes, Bryle will complete the kill, and they'll complete the kill on Jubei. So, a lot of heroes here in this bottom lane space for Tomato in the top as he continues to try to stand his own here against Rajix, who's sitting at the top of net worth right now. Nice hook coming out from Bryle. Just have to be careful, Shaggy's nearby, but so is Moon Meander, so might be able to turn this back around as they'll get the kill on B-God, and they need a little bit more from Moon. They don't quite have it, so he'll go, throw out the silence. The chase is on. They've got one of these golems trying to also close the distance onto Shaggy, and we'll burn through that one little bird over there. Wait patiently.
Even though he's got all this tankiness, he's just basically allowed to play really, really aggressive. You know, he can rot and stand on people, and he takes no damage. So it provides this this great trade opportunity where you're rot damaging them, but you're not taking damage. It basically unlocks Pudge in a huge way, and it didn't work. So good damage here.
Yeah, there's the dismemberment. They'll follow up. They've got a Wild Wing. They'll make way over with another sticky bomb. They'll throw a little mini stun, but the Wild Wing throwing him forward. Oh, baby, that would have been so cool if that connected.
Yeah, I love this new neutral change, actually. Once players discovered how amazing it is for these chase moments, oh man, it's fun to watch. A good attempt to get him chase in there. High Shaggy has to go back to base and heal things up, and the pressure continues. Bryle is still a little low in HP right now. He actually committed all the way flesh heap level 4. Wow.
God, this Pudge is so gross when he goes and uses the rot. Like, his arms get all like
bulgy.
Nasty.
Yeah, it looks like he's about to explode.
The Wild Wing again. Coming in handy, but they need to lock down Shaggy a little bit more. So they'll go for the hook. Oh, it's a little short.
Pudge.
Then they're gonna start chasing away TSM. Magix throwing down that firestorm. They'll go and grab Timoon, hoping maybe Roshan will help a brother out, and indeed he will, as Bryle is trying to climb away. It is not looking like he'll be able to get it off. Does he? No, very close. Neutral creeps
Can't
almost.
die to... He couldn't die to him because he had flesh heap on. He was like, oh, he's damage blocking like 40 damage or something per auto attack there. So it was going to take a big hitter like Rajix with plus 100 damage to get the kill. So not bad for the cut. They are still losing by 2k net worth. Tomato's sitting really solid right now, which is great for the starting Morphling here.
A little bit of pressure getting placed on Tomato. They're gonna have some TPs come out the way for him though. He turns back around. He's just farming up here. All right, all right.
Yeah, because he knows, like, as long as he's not killable, he's completely fine, right? B-God, I think, used silence already on him or something like that, burned most of his spells, so yeah, he just needs to re-hit creeps, and any time they spend on him is not hurting his team much. See if they can defend, though. Moon Meander's going to try to slow things down. Glyph helps, but there's a catapult in a big wave.
It doesn't seem like they're sending anybody else up to really help Moon here currently, unless they go for a dive, perhaps. A Shaggy makes his way over. These bombs are clearing up the creeps pretty well. Another toss out, but there's too many here. The Mystic Flare doing the damage. We'll punish Moon for trying to defend, and still providing a bit of space, though, here for TSM. You can see the way that they're aggressively farming, and B-God's sitting very low. Tomato would love to get himself a little candy pick-off kill here. Trying to use that courier. They can see B-God. There it is.
And something spot on him. Was it did he get too close to the tower or something? He almost escaped, but either way, Tomato finds him. Nice defense. High Shaggy probably would have died to the techies if he didn't have Flame Guard so leveled up, by the way. He absorbed a lot of damage. And now Scourge trying to get them out of his lane.
Oh, okay, all right. That's going to cancel the TP over to Dubu. He does have the mech done, and he's got the Hand of God, but is going to fall here as Bryle, making his way over to this mid lane, is going to be backed up by Moon Meander. Go for a little bit of a hook, grab himself up a nice regen, and
he's got the Ocean Heart too. Ocean Heart plus Wand means tons of mana regen that he was struggling with a little bit before, and he still is playing very aggressive on the map. His net worth is pretty solid, very at the top as Pudge, so once he gets Ags, his team fight impact is going to be even stronger. And he won't take much damage from Rot either. We're having the Hood and 4 points Flesh Heap now. I think he'll take basically nothing when that gets active, so huge AoE.
So, Bit of a fish walking into the net sort of situation here as Rajik's wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately for him. So they'll pick him off in here. Morphling is silenced. Tomato doing the best he can. Waveforms forward, grabs himself up a bounty rune. Gonna have to shift a little bit more. They use all the remnants. They just can't quite close the distance over onto Tomato. Oh no, there it is. There's the slide coming out from Shaggy. We'll finish up the Morphling as Dubu is gonna be next on the list. Bryle, though, following up, does have a cheeky hook in play. Doesn't have the dismember yet, but the tower will be able to have him just enough damage to help him out. As we lose Juve in another lane to Saberlight and Moon. Look at him. He's trying to go over there with that little cart, but doesn't have anything to cancel out a TP at this time.
Saberlight actually grabs the Ogre Bruiser as well. I don't know if his stun was used to get that kill, but that would have been cool. It's a 3-second wind up, so if you can land it, lots of damage. But so far, pretty solid for the cut, considering they're actually getting some kills on the map. Ember Spirit was out of mana, that's why he was very killable. Tomato was completely strength morphed here, so this chase had been a long time coming for him. Hence, Dubu was like 3 seconds away from mech as well, so if only there was a little bit more time there, he could have maybe saved him, but unfortunately for him, not able to keep him on the map the same. But Pudge is making his way towards Ags. He's got 2 pieces left to go. He's got the Ogre Axe, got the Point Booster, and once he finishes that, his farm speed's going to jump a lot. His team fight impact is going to be huge. Once he hits 15, he gets Spell Lifesteal. It's a fun build, I gotta say. But the big farmer right now is actually Saberlight. Look at his net worth. 103, 7,100 net worth, 14 minutes in the game. He's having a great one.
I feel like he wasn't pressured hardly at all, right? Because it was just him versus Tomato in the top lane. Or sorry, not versus Tomato. Just him, you know, facing off
Scourge,
earlier. Yeah, Scourge. And he just didn't seem to have too many issues going on. He was allowed to just farm in that bottom area of the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, and Demonic Conversion got nerfed again, by the way, so the level 1 cooldown is 60 seconds instead of 50. So if you're playing this as a 5-position Enigma, you're getting even less denies. So normally you'd expect to see more of an impact in terms of experience and stuff, but they're able to kill enough Eidolons, I think, to offset it. But here comes the big fight for TSM. They've got vision.
Scourge, yeah, they've got the... All right, they also can see this. Follow up with the Roar. Immediately jumping over here onto Scourge. He's going to just get absolutely obliterated. The Losing Moon Meander, despite trying to go and use that regen. Backlines, they find themselves B-God. Shaggy still alive, so was Rajix. They lose Jubei. Shaggy going back in here. We'll be able to root up the Morphling. Did drop that Fiend's Gate over to the side, but it's like the cut. Gonna back off.
Great fight there for TSM. They stayed, even though they saw the Hawk coming, they didn't use it as an indicator that TSM was ready to jump in. So big Roar sets the fight up, and even though the cut used their spells pretty effectively, especially with Rajik showing up, just was way too much damage. So they get cleaned up, and now instantly into Roche. Keep in mind they've got Vlad's here, so amazing Morphling item. He's got so much base damage, so he's got all this extra lifesteal, this extra damage here, and it's really just the synergy of the TSM heroes are really cool. The Techie's Pudge, amazing synergy, amplifying damage as proxy mines, amplifies the magic damage that Pudge deals out, and they've got the Beastmaster with the Vlads to combo with Morphling. Everything was thought out in this TSM draft. They're not messing around here.
So I always think it's funny, like a lot of the times we'll see some of these kind of unique drafts coming out from the side of TSM, especially when you see them up against, you know, maybe a team that might be a little less experienced. And I know whenever we ask Moon Meander about this as, all right, they get themselves a Saberlight, that's a nice pickoff. But whenever we ask them about, like, you know, this seems a little silly, they say, no, we're always, you know, we're just trying something different, but we're always playing to win. As they get a silence off over here on Shaggy, he's gonna have to use the Remnant to get away. Bro, going for the hopeful hook. Almost.
And when Saberlight went for that rune, there was a cliff ward here, so the cut was able to see him coming and use everything to instantly kill him. He also didn't have Roar to defend himself, so the moment that his smoke broke and he saw them, he couldn't also roar and run. So a little too pressured there, unfortunately for him. Moon Meander going to try to mess with Shaggy a bit, though.
Does have to be careful. The rest of the team is sitting right behind Shaggy. Have the TP come out. Saberlight rejoining, is going to throw down that sentry immediately, get the vision. This Tomato's going to wander into a couple of members here of the cut, but there's the roar, and there's the kill.
Up there. Barely catch him while he's trying to be squirrely. But in the meantime, the cut's still farming all right, so not the end of the world, but the pressure will continue here. Chen going to get across the map. They're going to have more items for Beastmaster, which is going to make team fighting a little easier. There are some good things coming for the cut side. Jubei is getting closer to Blink Dagger. He's 1,400 gold right now. He's maxed out Midnight Pulse second over Malefice, which makes sense. He's not going to be tanky enough to be able to cast Malefice multiple times, so it's better if he lands like a monster Midnight Pulse that just does a huge amount of damage. And with the tankiness of the TSM side, Midnight Pulse is genuinely really powerful this game.
I was about to say that we have not seen a black hole yet come out from the side of the cut. It just hasn't seemed like there's been an opportune moment. Scourge will show himself reveal here with Shaggy making his way over. Hand of God gets used. Oh, this is not looking good for this TA. She's trying to run away. The bomb now at the last second. Saberlight will finish off. They'll chase after them. They've used the Fiend's Gate though. Rajik's joining in. They want the kill on Saberlight and they will be able to find it. Moon's still here. Can drop that taser. They need a little bit more. Shaggy's gonna get drawn right into the portal and make it out.
Runs back to the top lane. Very wise here. It's going to run into a lot of skeletons, but hey, at least they got a kill response. It's been a tough game for Scourge. McDuck. His net worth is not looking good. 1-5-3 on him, but at least other players on his team are doing well. That's not really going to offset it completely. You don't really want to play TA when you're behind, but it's got to do the best they can, and getting some return kills is a good start. This is how this started, actually. This was actually the cut being aggressive. They TP'd in, went aggressive, but this is going to be the response from Moon. Great silence on 2. Tons of creeps hitting him, too, so he instantly loses refraction. And then, yeah, they're able to get Saberlight, at least, in the end. But it took a lot of doing.
Saberlight's like, well, I guess I'll just go make the bed while this is happening. I was going to climb into bed, too.
That's what it looked like to me, too.
Saberlight, I know you're a wacky guy, but maybe a little too wacky here.
Well, I'm dead. I might as well get comfy for 30 seconds. No problem.
All right. Well, I believe the Observer has already pointed out, too, that we have the Aghanim Scepter completed for Punch.
He's got to get the hook, though.
He does.
That's the tough thing. When you buy it after the hood, you're either gonna have to be the guy in the front line that your opponents go on, or you're gonna have to land your hooks, or you're gonna have to wait till you get Blink Dagger to really make it useful. But usually the problem with Core Pudge in the past was that even if all this stuff goes well, you still have a really shit ultimate, basically. You have to be in melee range to cast your ultimate. You have to not get stunned for 3 seconds. Doing so requires you to have a BKB. It just kind of means that, yeah, okay, maybe the Ag's Rod is good, but your ultimate isn't always reliable. And that can be a big problem when you're trying to make this hero work as a core.
A little bit of a chase towards B-God. Scourge desperately trying to find farm someplace safe, and he realizes with the positioning coming up from TSM, it might be safer to stay on their side of the map because they've been very aggressive. But the Blink Dagger has been picked up now for Jubei, so there is the potential of a big team fight to come out and perhaps turn things around a little bit for the side of the cut.
It is decent for him. He's still got to worry about the silence from techies. He's got to worry about being hooked. Kind of low chances. There's going to be a lot of shit going on. Roar from Beastmaster, and then probably the most annoying one is probably the strength stun.
All right, well, they knew exactly where Scourge was.
Okay.
But they'll find themselves a black hole over in the mid lane, so they get themselves a consolation prize in the form of Tomato, which is a pretty decent kill.
Hell yeah. If your carry is super under farm, but you kill their normally farmed carry, definitely worth it there. I think it will spot out the creeps. I gotta say, Dubu is using like the weirdest assortment of creeps I've seen in a long time, but hey, if that's what's available, take them.
I like it. I like seeing different creeps get picked.
Hill Troll Priest is great though. 15% heal amplification for nearby allies, so that means his mech as well as his Hand of God are going to be better off. Frost Armor is very excellent. And once again, he grabs the Centaur Courser. This man reads the patch notes. He knows what's good. He knows what's good. Just trying to buff up his allies and make them more survivable, and that's frankly the way to go, because a lot of times these Chen creeps, if you grab your conventional creeps, they just kind of die right away in a lot of AoE against a lot of AoE lineups.
Roar play come out, and they'll put some pressure over onto B-God. They'll show off that they have the Blink Dagger completed, as Shaggy is just gonna zip away. Mid lane, looks like they're trying to make some plays over here onto Rajix. Already had to go and drop that Pit of Malice, but Tomato turning himself into his own Underlord. Do have an Atos though over Rajix, and he's pretty fast. Looks like he will survive because he is fairly tanky, but definitely was a little worried there for a moment.
That's a pretty good amount of damage dealt to him. Tomato did his best there, but Saberlight, a little bit of a rare mistake with the Primal Roar, maybe just trying to poke his opponents, aim for those solo kills, but hey, eventually they do get the kill, so it works out just fine.
Man, look at the way that Scourge is having to play in this bottom lane. He's just so careful here. He's in the tree line. He's trying to just give some space. They'll root into place over here again as they'll jump over onto Dubu, and they don't manage to get the kill just yet because they have the dismemberment, and Shaggy will just get evaporated. As Dubu treats himself to a little treat of a gem and a force staff, Rajix now is going to get stunned with the dive bomb. They've got plenty of damage this time around to take out this Underlord. And Bryle, he's looking, he's fishing, he's grabbed himself a B-God. B-God fighting back with his own Mystic Flare with the silence, but not enough to take down Bryle.
That was really nicely done by Bryle. There's a ton of damage coming from B-God, but not quite enough. Yeah, he's got Kaya on Skywrath Mage and the Nether Shawl, but not quite enough damage to kill him. And also, you're just taking amplified damage from Rod as well. Any amplified magic damage you can put on Pudge is a nice advantage in the fights, but now he's just healed up to full.
This is another tower that's going to go the way of TSM. It is just so difficult for the cut to break into this now. They don't have the black hole for another 30-something seconds. Bryle just continuing to try to go fishing here, but not quite finding the opening. Root into place to get the roar off. Look at this, Bryle's like, let me out, I can't even do it fast. Tomato's gonna blow him up. It'll be a buyback now from High Shaggy. They can see Tomato. He's stuck over here on the side. He's gonna need some assistance, but they already taken out Shaggy. He tries to go and dodge. No, he can't. The Mystic Flare coming in hot will ensure they get the kill on Morphling.
Jumps in aggressively, but did not have Manta at the time, so was able to be ran down there. If he's got Manta, he had it right at the end, obviously, but if he had it earlier, he gets out no problem. But it's fine for them. They're still very far ahead. They got that 2-Rex off of that great team fight in the mid lane. And on the other side, Templar Assassin's just been like scrambling to try to catch up this whole game. And he's kind of getting there, but he's still very far behind. And that's kind of like the big issue this game, is that his laning stage just did not go well. Did not go well enough at all, and he's been just trying to catch up to a point where they feel comfortable fighting, but I just don't think he's ever going to get there. And frankly, his hero's never going to be that good against Morphling either, because unless Morphling's full strength morph, he's got a huge amount of armor, so that matchup is also rough. So tough game for Scourge so far.
Yeah, a lot of pressure being placed on Jubei to get these very clean initiations and put down that magic damage. But eventually, you know, it is okay. All right, Bryle jumping in, finds himself Scourge. He can't afford this. They're trying to get the Fiend's Gate to get him out, but they can't do it quickly enough. Rajix, though, joining back in. They have nothing to go and draw. Oh, he ends up staying. He's trying to figure out where he wants to go as the back alliance. BKB, they find B-God. And there's the hook on to Jubei. Night-night, Jubei.
I really like this shard pickup that Saberlight opted for this game. So effective with Pudge, right? Like, gives you vision over your opponents and sets up the stun like that. Just amazing. But ultimately, it was that ward on the cliff that started them off. I mean, Brawl wants to take fights. He's very high impact in terms of damage. He has good gank potential. So he just jumps in and starts the fight, forces his opponents to respond to him, and he's really tanky and hard to kill. Same thing, here it comes.
Followed with the silence, the big damage. It's a nice combo coming out from TSM. And that's an Aegis for Tomato.
They're just doing like two things at once this entire game. And the cut is just trying so hard to do one successfully, but they're struggling with it. So TSM keep pressuring. Aegis now being up on Tomato. He's getting towards Satanic a little bit, but for now with the Aegis and the Manta, should be pretty good. They could dive here.
They are definitely going for the dive. They even go for the roar, the waveform forward. We've got all these creeps hitting away at Rajix too. Tomato gets another kill, and they should be able to easily get this tower. And Bryle wants Scourge. Oh boy. Blinks forward. Scourge though blinking out. There'll be the buyback coming out now from Rajix. Needed to try to push them off of this tower. It's gonna be difficult though. Jubei does have the black hole, but they need the damage to follow up with it. That's gonna be the tricky bit. Go for a smoke play. Rajix being the only one forward, gonna try to clean up that Warpine. All right, they find the opening over here onto the Bryle, who use a lot of remnants, and they just cannot do enough here. So again, Tomato continuing to just focus on the buildings, focus on the racks, on the back lines. Here we go, they found themselves Shaggy, Moon Meander with the kill. As TSM,
his damage output has been so good.
Going fishing, he catches himself a Jubei. All right, there's got a decent amount of damage. Are they gonna be able to finish? Yeah, they finally take down the Pudge here. The chase is up, but the GG has already been called. They're happy enough with that. And TSM, they're bringing some interesting strats here to the NAC.